What up, what up, what up? Welcome to the Face Show. Welcome to my channel. So, y'all, let's just get into it. So, y'all know, just the other day, Stephen A. and some of his people was at the game, at the Laker game, and LeBron James were there. And, you know, I guess him and LeBron James not seeing eye to eye because LeBron, you know, got into it with Stephen A. I'm going to go ahead and show the clip. I'm going to show the clip in the beginning. I'm sure I'm going to show it at the end. So, I guess apparently after the game, Stephen A. and his peoples was sitting on the court line, on the sideline. And when the game was over, LeBron walked up to Stephen A. Now, they didn't have exactly what he was saying, but you can kind of look at his mouth and tell he was mad as hell and he was cussing and probably was like, you know, keep my son name out your fucking mouth. Because that's exactly what, you know, I think he said. I'm not sure, but I think he said that. But anyway, it's a clip showing that LeBron going up to Stephen A. and whatever he said to Stephen A., he went off. Stephen A. came out today and he spoke a little bit about it. They had a little interview about it. He gave his point of view about how he feel. He said, you know, he think LeBron was coming from a father perspective, which means, you know, if anybody's mad about people talking about their son or saying something that they don't like about their son, his son. So y'all know his son is Bronny James. He played in the NBA, you know, and so if somebody hear you always saying things about him that they don't like, of course you're going to get mad. But what LeBron failed to realize is that's Stephen A.'s job. His job is to voice his opinion on whatever he see in the sports industry when they're playing the game. Whether you like it or not, a lot of people don't like him because, you know, he an asshole sometimes, and sometimes he get on my nerve. I can't stand some of the stuff he say, but for the most part, some of the stuff he say, he be on point with it. And not only that, it be truth to it. So, you know, sometimes you can be like, he get on my nerves, shut up, be quiet, Stephen A., because I don't want to hear it right now. And then other times you be like, yeah, you right. But coming from his perspective, where I can see what he's talking about, is that is his job, is to report on people. Now, LeBron is mad about a clip that Stephen, I'm going to drop that clip in there too so y'all can see all this. He's mad about a clip that Stephen A. did last year, and he was speaking about Bronny James and LeBron, and he mainly was speaking about LeBron, but LeBron took it as though he was talking about his son, and he said that he felt like Bronny wasn't ready for the NBA. He felt like the little announcement that LeBron made stating that he wanted to play, you know, in the NBA his last year, and he'll play for any team that allowed him to play with his son on the court with him. And he's not going to play, and money doesn't have anything to do with it. And he's not going to play with nobody unless they let his son play. So it's pretty much like a power move. You know, it's like, what's the word I'm looking for? Nefertarium. Where, you know, people feel like they're entitled because that's their, you know, relative or something like that. So it got a lot to do with LeBron being powerful in the NBA and speaking out. And so they allow him to come out and get on the court with his son, but they say his son is not playing up to par. And that's not the first time I heard it. A lot of people think that Bronny is garbage. Now, I didn't say that. I don't watch him play. I don't watch a lot of basketball. I watch more football than anything. But when you hear people talking about Bronny James, you hear them speaking real negative about his game. Like he's not doing what he's supposed to do. And maybe they saying he's not good. He's not bad. He's just not ready for the NBA. And they say he played better in the G League. And that's this part that Stephen A. was making up the point, is they think that I feel sorry for this young man, too, because he's caught in the middle of people trying to compare him to his father. Now, his father's a superstar. Everybody know LeBron James is like number one. He got that shit sold up. He got basketball sold up. It's nothing. And I know he want that for his son, but his son it wasn't as great as he were. Wasn't as great as Kobe were. Wasn't as great as Michael Jordan. He wanted him to be, but he's not. And so what Stephen A was saying is, I think that the expectation that people have on him because of LeBron James, that he needs to set his son down and maybe take him out of the NBA and let him just play for the G League until he get better, because he's not really ready for the NBA. And I felt like LeBron James, he was pretty mad about that. You know, he stated that I wasn't speaking about Bronny, I was speaking about you, and how I feel like you are, you put your son in a position where he got to look up to you and try to play to this standard that he doesn't have, and he's playing in this position and he's not even making the points. He's not performing the way he should be performing by playing in the NBA. And there's other people, and then they said LeBron James already has stated that my son is ready. He can whoop anybody in there. He's like better than anybody there, which they have since proven that that's not true. He's better off in a different league than he is in the NBA league, because he can keep up with the other league than he can in the NBA. These are big ballers that have been playing for a long time. These boys got skills. This boy's not putting up enough points to be in the NBA, and he's not ready. And then the pressure from the media and the people around him, and the sports commentaries, and people saying what they have to say and how they feel about it. Just imagine how he feel, and I'm praying for him too. I'm praying for the situation that they can resolve this thing, because it's kind of messed up that he's caught in the middle of it. And LeBron, is sad that you got to throw your weight around, and you shouldn't be coming at this man about what his job is. Everybody talk about what they feel about your son. And then I also heard that him and LeBron doesn't have the best of relationships. Stephen A and LeBron have never had the best of relationships since I know they've been in the game, I guess. And he said he's okay with that. I'm going to let y'all watch it. I'm not going to speak too much about it because I done said too much already. Y'all go ahead and hit that like button. Leave your comments. Let me know what you think about this whole entire situation. Please like the video, share the video. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell for future videos, because we're trying to get in the algorithm so this channel can, advance a little bit more, and y'all can help me out with that. Please like, share, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and on that note, I'm out. Have a blessed night.
Obviously, Stephen A., an incredible game last night in LA. You were in the building, and we'll get to what that means for the Lakers and Knicks in just a moment. But, S.A., there was a moment in the game that we want to address.
That was LeBron James coming up to me, unexpectedly, I might add, to confront me about making sure that I mind what I say about his son. Can't repeat the words because they ain't suited for FCC airwaves. That's what he was doing. I thought long and hard about this over the last few hours, because I had no intentions, Molly, of talking about this at all.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because it was a one-on-one, I wouldn't say a conversation, but it was a one-on-one confrontation. But then I wake up and everybody from ESPN and my agent and everybody else were sending me that this thing had gone viral. And so ultimately it was unavoidable, and that is why I have to discuss it now. That wasn't a basketball player confronting me. That was a parent. That was a father. And I can't sit here and be angry or feel slighted by LeBron James in any way in that regard. By all accounts, he's obviously a wonderful family man and a wonderful father who cares very, very deeply about his son. And based on some of the comments that he had heard, or shall I say, I think he thought he heard, he clearly took exception to some of the things that he heard me say, and he confronted me about it. For the record, his agent and friend, Rich Paul, has my number. Maverick Carter, who works under him, has my number. LeBron James knows how to get in contact with me if he wanted to. He never called, because had he called and wanted to talk to me, I would have accepted that call. Had he wanted to see me, I would have flown out and I would have seen him and I would have had a conversation man to man. But that is not what he elected to do. Instead, he elected to confront me while I was sitting courtside, Ari Emanuel, the head of William Morris Endeavor, one of the agencies that represents me, along with Larry David, was sitting courtside. I was with them for the game. And he walked right up to me and he said what he had to say. And apparently he feels like I was slighting his son. Now let me tell you what I feel. What I would have said if we were in a different environment, because I was not going to engage in a confrontation at that particular moment in that setting. But if we had had that conversation, I would have said to LeBron James, I never would speak negatively about your son. I was talking about you, meaning you, LeBron James. I have nothing but the best wishes for Bronny James. I wish him nothing but the best. I hope that he flourishes into an NBA star. Usually in other sports, we see all-stars, and on occasion, we'll see their children become stars as well. That doesn't really happen with the NBA. I sincerely hope he's the exception. By all accounts, he's a wonderful kid. And I don't know anybody who roots against him, and it certainly isn't me. But in the same breath, at the time that we were talking about him, he was percolating to such a degree that the Bronny James stories had gone viral. And so we had to talk about it. And when I said the things that I said, I wasn't talking about Bronny James because my attitude is he's a rookie. It's going to take some time for him to get himself together. He'll be just fine, especially with J.J. Redick and the staff coaching him. I was talking about the position that he was put in by his dad, because LeBron James has been on the record and he has said, and I'll read the quote here. There was a quote that he gave in February of 2024. The work and results will ultimately do talking, no matter what the size. If y'all don't know, he doesn't care what mock drafts say. He just works, earn. Wherever Bronny is at, that's where I'll be. I'll do whatever it takes to play with my son for a year. It's not about the money at that point. My point months ago was that because of who you are, one of the top 2 players in the history of basketball, in my estimation, there's an immense amount of pressure that comes with that for his son. And when he talked like that and what have you, anything that goes awry as it pertains to his son, there's going to be a microscopic eye, even more intensified, on Bronny James because of his dad. And that's when I was talking about, come on, man, this is the situation that you're putting him in. That's where I was coming from. I could be a bit more outspoken about it, but to be quite honest with you, to be in that moment, to have LeBron look at me the way that he did, for me to be a father of 2 daughters, for me to know what fathers, how much love fathers have for their children, and to hear what he had to say, it was all about his son. It was almost as if he was saying, you know, you and I, because he and I don't necessarily vibe, it's high and by, we keep it moving. Neither of us lose sleep over it. And it's been that way for years. But it was like he was saying, keep that between me and you. Almost as if he was thinking that anything that I said about Bronny was a result of him. And in that situation, again, I wasn't talking about Bronny. I was really, really talking about him because of the position that Bronny was in. But I really understood where he was coming from. He was very, very upset. I could tell. He could have called me. I'd have came to see him. I'd have had a conversation with him. He could have been just as upset face-to-face, man-to-man, as opposed to being courtside at the game. I had no idea that everybody saw it until I woke up this morning. But it is what it is. In the end, like I said, you know, I as a father, I get it. I'm not offended. I'm not insulted. I don't have any animosity or animus towards LeBron James for this. Nothing like that. I don't think he cares, but neither do I. I'm just stating fact. None of that exists. If I was in his position, I can't definitively say I would not have done the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm not blaming him one bit. I get it. I understand it. And there's a part of me that aches and hurts because of it. But unlike a whole bunch of people with their podcast and beyond that talk about the NBA, I covered the NBA. And it's my job to talk about the subjects and the subject matters that matter. I work for ESPN. I'm here. We have the #1 morning show for the last 13 years and counting. God has blessed us with that. There's a lot that's going on, and there's a lot of stories that are there to be told. And I just feel it's necessary to remind people, Molly, I was raised as a journalist. Let's be very, very clear about what that means. I'm not one of those that get into people's private affairs. But what you do on a public platform for public consumption, that's what I cover. That's what I do for a living. And if you're in the NBA, that applies to you. I don't want enemies. I live a very good life. I like to make people laugh and smile and have a good time and all of that other stuff. But I also get paid to call it like I see it. And what I said at the time, I stand by what I said. It wasn't even any reporting. The facts were out there. And what I was saying about LeBron is fact-based because of what he said and the things that he said leading up to his son getting drafted and ultimately being in the NBA on the same team as him, as opposed to being a Boston Celtic or a Golden State Warrior. There is no way around that. And when you are born and raised as a journalist, not born and raised, but when you're raised as a journalist professionally, you don't want enemies, but you ain't paid to make friends. You got to call it like you see it. And that's what I did. So again, in closing, I just want to say, I'm not upset. I don't care. I wish that it wasn't in that kind of atmosphere. I wish it was in a private setting.
Yep.
I don't blame LeBron James for being upset. I don't blame him for being angry. I don't blame him for wanting to confront me, because that wasn't a superstar basketball player that confronted me. He played like one again last night, which just reminds you of his focus and his greatness.
Yeah.
But that wasn't a basketball player that approached me last night.
Let's get
that was
into
a daddy.
What happened
And
before.